The aftermath is staggering. The residents of High River were given just a few short hours' notice before their town, nestled in a prairie basin, was turned into a lake.
What we understand, anyway, is that the water backed up out of the Highwood River. It got pushed back into this area, and in about 4.5 hours, it dumped about 1.3 billion gallons of water.
Dale Marchand's company, Canadian Dewatering, has been summoned to tackle a monumental job, pumping all that water out of High River.
When we first got here 2 weeks ago, the water level was obviously about halfway up to the garage level. And, we were awestruck by, oh my God, the people who live here must be just devastated. Very emotional, for sure. We provide a service that's very unique. We have barges, divers, commercial divers, pumping systems, anything that has to do with pumping water, moving water above, below, or otherwise.
They emptied Calgary's Saddle Dome with water up to the 14th row in a day. But High River has become their Goliath.
When the floods hit on Thursday, that day the phone was ringing. I mean, we were down here in High River with our divers, with the Zodiacs, helping people out of their houses. The next day and the following days, we were in these residential areas that we normally never really do a significant amount of work in.
That means bringing huge equipment traditionally used for industrial work into neighborhoods to tackle the catastrophe. And for this job, they needed the really big guns.
We started mobilizing equipment from all over the country.
Logistically, to haul in over 50, 60 truckloads of equipment, in such a short period of time, it was quite taxing.
So we had to devise a system in which we could move that water and move it fast.
As Calgary's flooding receded back to the waterways, High River residents were panicked because the water here was landlocked, like a big bathtub without a drain.
We needed to put a strategy together that effectively, it took days to set up and to orchestrate.
The city was divided up into separate basins to parcel out the job by neighborhood. A berm was built to separate the community of Sunshine with 1,100 homes from another neighborhood with 300. Sunshine took priority.
It took roughly about a week and a half to pump an approximate 350 million gallons of water out of this area. When we started to pump, we started to see things materialize, and we didn't realize that there was a fence there or a bridge, that had been blown away.
As families on this side of the berm begin the heartbreaking salvage of their lives, the team focuses on their final challenge.
We were then tasked with removing the water on the north side of the dam.
The tools this team uses to fight the battle are the highest volume mobile pumps in the country. The 3 red Godwin pumps pull over 45,000 liters per minute with the 600 horsepower thrust of an Indy race car. The blue pumps are smaller, but effectively suck 34,000 liters per minute. Together, they're emptying High River of more than 400 million liters per day. That is like draining an Olympic-sized swimming pool every 8.5 minutes.
We're pumping at roughly 800 feet across a field into the irrigation canal that feeds down into Travers Dam into southern Alberta.
Bill Stark tracks their progress by marking a building on a residential construction site.
So we're just painting this so that they've got a benchmark. It's supposed to be the same time every day. As we pull the water out, the area of the lake gets smaller, so it starts dropping faster.
But they have to strategize and change their equipment to match the different water levels.
Of the 8 pumps, the 3 west pumps have got a set suction sitting right on the bottom of the lake. They will start to pull a vortex, like a drain in your bathtub. Same thing. It'll start sucking air down that. Once it pulls a certain amount of air into the pipe will float, the pump will lose prime, and it'll stop pumping. Now the other 5 pumps, the ones that are all blue, they have got a different kind of suction that is set up to float, and it's got a much bigger suction area. It's more like cutting a 1-foot hole in the bottom of your bathtub. You're not going to see a vortex. The water is just going to go.
The lake bottom is uneven, and getting heavy equipment to low-lying pools left behind would be impossible. The ground is just too saturated, so they came up with a floating barge solution to make sure they can get every drop.
Our heaviest piece is 15,500 pounds. They become fully buoyant, will float in 15 inches of water. Once that's all together, we start putting the manifolding on.
The floating barge will carry 3 more pumps to the deepest part of the lake.
We had moved 500 million gallons, so we have 500 million remaining. That would give us, a conservative estimate of 5 days from now. We should be pretty close to complete.
If the area weren't pumped out, High River would be a permanent lake. The town's standard pumps are no match for this monster of a flood.
We would be here for months, literally months, maybe into next year. At least we give them the ability to, to get in and start their recovery and their relief process.